A bench jet starter is back. Suck that, Woody Johnson. And which job is more attractive at the head coaching position? The New York Jets or the Chicago Bears? We'll debate and discuss it. Boy Green Daily starts right now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
What's going on, beautiful people? My name is Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your friggin' podcast, people. Welcome to the program. Welcome to the weekend, and hope you've been enjoying your holiday. And for those who are continuing it, I hope you guys enjoy it today. Let's flip the switch. We're 19 members away from our number one Austrian Jet fan from getting his emoji. So feel free to join the Boy Green Coffee Club. That is the pinned comment on YouTube, but it's always available in our YouTube description down below. So let's show some love. Also, we have a poll up on YouTube. Feel free to check it out, where you guys can interact and let us know which job do you believe is more attractive. And I'm aware this is a Jet show, but we can speak unbiased here on the program and just call it how you see it. So which job is more attractive, the Bears or the Jets, which we're going to discuss here on the show. And look who's back for a discount double check this week. The Esden Zone with the Boy Green merch, which is also available down in the link below. Pop, good morning.
Hey now, and they make great stocking stuffers.
Ooh,
Straight
holidays.
stocking stuffers.
That's
so
right.
The holidays are right around the corner. I don't know how many shopping days there are, but it's freaking close. 25 days, give or take, to the fat man rides again.
Well, there's no doubt about that, which reminds me I should probably start my Christmas shopping here pretty soon, because gonna have to get on top of that one. That one I have not started yet, but hey, you know, good things come to those who wait, I read somewhere.
I would call you a moron, except it does no good.
Well, you know, you can pick up the shirt if that makes anybody feel better. Feel free to do so. Anywho, let's get into, so there's a couple of things here. We'll talk about a bench starter returning, who was originally benched at the behest of the owner, apparently according to some reporting, which we'll get to in a second. But I want to get into this Bears-Jets thing first, because Matt Eberflus gets fired yesterday. And come on, I mean, he had to be fired after the things he said. I mean,
who called it?
Did you call that he was going to get fired
Yes.
yesterday or something? Oh, okay. Well, like I said, I think he had to be fired after what he said. It reminds other people have said in the past that, like, Joe Judge, who was the head coach of the Giants at the time, was supposed to be safe. And then against the Washington Commanders at the end of the season, on like a 3rd and 10 at the end of the game, he did a QB sneak because they wanted to punt. And long story short, Joe Judge got lit up on the radio and everything else, and the Giants went, all right, we got to fire this guy. So I thought Eberflus was probably getting fired anyway, but this really accelerated the process. Saying, no, everything was right. It just didn't work. And you're like, huh? What? So anywho, Eberflus is fired. So the Bears' job is open. The Jets' job is open. Before I get into any of the numbers or analytics or anything of that nature, I'll just ask you straight up, Pop, which head coaching job is more attractive? And I'll let you know that we put it out to the Twitter universe, and we have over 1,000 votes, so you guys can continue to vote on that if you'd like. I'll throw it up here, on the screen so you guys can see it. This was a poll I put out yesterday, shortly after Eberflus was fired. Which job is more attractive, Jets or Bears? Bears. And we have over 1,000 votes, and 51% of the people are leaning Bears right now. And there you have it. But I do have mostly Jet followers of my, how many do we get? Nice flexer, 17.9 thousand followers flexed on them. They are mostly Jets, I would assume. So take that in as you will. But Jets, Bears job, which one's more attractive? Go.
Let me think. The Bears.
Okay, do tell.
Yeah, I mean it's a wide margin.
Okay,
and you know they have. You know, it's less important now, but they have what the Jets don't, is a quarterback of the future. right? They have the quarterback of the future, which is everyone knows is the largest piece of the puzzle. I would also say that they're in better shape, contractually speaking, than the Jets are with some of their key players, right? The key players on offense are locked in for several more years. Keenan Allen would be the only one out there that they have to kind of, figure out what they're going to do with him next year. But with DJ Moore and Rome Odunze, right? Keenan Allen, frankly, to me, is expendable.
Probably, I would assume so. Yeah.
But I think they're going to try and re-sign him if he'll take the discount double deal, right? But the running back is solid. They have him under contract for multiple more years. He's not an unrestricted free agent till 2027, right? They are in good shape. And the Bears, right, have lost like 6 games by like 14 points combined. So they are literally right there. And if you break down the games, 3 or 4 of them are purely coaching errors. So the Bears are closer. They're in better shape with their players, and they have the quarterback of the future. Those are the 3 things that lock it down. To me, it's not close.
Yeah, as I pull up the Bears free agents to be list, you are right. It is Keenan Allen, who is a clear starter, who just had a nice game on Turkey Day. He's set to be a free agent. There's a couple other ones that are more under the radar. Tevin Jenkins is a starting offensive lineman for them. He's not making a bunch of money because he was a rookie, but he's an unrestricted free agent to be. So there's a couple sneaky ones on this list that are also included. But overall, you're right. They also have a lot of cap space. They currently have projected for 2025 at $81 million. That's top 5 in the NFL in cap space. And to your point, they shouldn't have to use it on a lot of things based on some of those starters that are hitting. The Jets in the same category have about $30 million in change, $31 million in change in 2025. That's 21st in the league. But of course, you have to factor in the Devontae Adams contract. That's $30 million, and what other moves are going to happen. So the Jets could jump right into the ballpark with the Bears by making a few cap moves. But obviously, the cap moves you make means you might have to backfill, because if you move on from Devontae, then you have to replace Devontae, or vice versa with a couple of the other Aaron Rodgers or anything like that. So that obviously has to be factored in as well. Let's shout out to Hansen, who just joined the Boy Green Coffee Club, baby. Mazel tov. Jets Mets fan. I am so sorry for everything you've gone through in your life, but appreciate you joining the party, baby. Excellent. And let's update the banner. We're now 18 members away from our number 1 Austrian Jet fan. We love to see it. Hansen, welcome to the party, baby. We love to see it. And we'll have that dropped in there in a little bit from Jared B. The Discord link that you can join by now becoming a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. Also, draft pick wise, I wanted to take a gander at that. Bears have their first round pick. They have an extra second. I believe that is Carolina there. So they have a 1, they have 2 2s, a 3. They don't have a 4, but they have 2 5s and 2 6s. It's very similar to the Jets package. They just don't have the extra 2. They have a first, a second, a third, a fourth, 2 5ths, 2 6. So their 5th and 6th kind of equal out with the Bears. And then the Bears have an extra second, and the Jets have a 4th that they don't have. So probably lean towards Bears, obviously, on draft compensation too. And the roster has some nice talent. I was kind of peeking through the Bears roster to see some other players through this list, and there's a lot to like. Jalen Johnson's is a top flight corner. You have DJ Moore, who's pretty good. DeAndre Swift is a decent running back. Keenan Allen, but you mentioned he's about to be a free agent. Rome Odunze, I loved coming out of the draft. I can't hide that. Caleb Williams, he's been so-so. He's had good moments. He's had bad moments. He's had a couple of those Aaron Rodgers 30-yard passing first halves, which have been disgusting this year. But a few of those. Is that on coaching? Is that on Caleb? I don't know. We can have a conversation about that, I'm sure. But Kevin Byard, they got nice free veterans, true veterans in this pool. Tremaine Edmonds, who's that alien 6'5", 250-pound linebacker. They got Jacob Barton, former Jets legend. Great to see you, Jacob. A couple of interesting offensive linemen like our Darnell Wright and things of that nature. So, God bless. They got some interesting dudes. So you don't think it's close. You think the Bears clearly have the better gig, and it's not close at all.
Well, they have a quarterback. They have a better. They have a better draft.
Okay.
And the team is playing better than the Jets, and the key skill positions, they are not challenged with re-signing them. So you take all that together, and yeah, I don't think it's close. I mean,
well, what about the division? The Lions are awesome. The Packers are awesome. The Vikings are awesome. The Bears are the only team that don't have a winning record in that division. And to your point, you could argue that they could have with this win, but all the rest of the division is kicking ass. When are the Bears ever going to have a chance?
Yeah, so I would say that right now they lost to the top two teams that you just stated, Green Bay and the Lions by a combined 4 points. So I would say,
sure. Yeah.
No, with a better coaching staff. I don't even know what you're talking about. They didn't get blown out by the Broncos, right? I mean, just pump the brakes. They've also had a quarterback that's had a 300-yard passing game sometimes this century.
Oh, here we go. And what has that done for their record? Nothing. 300 yards. It's an arbitrary statistic.
I don't understand your argument. Do they have more? Let's just run through it.
I'm just playing devil's advocate to go through it.
Do they have a long-term starting quarterback? The Chicago Bears. Yeah,
maybe.
So that's a yes. Okay. Do they have their wide receivers, their core wide receiver talent and running backs under long-term contracts?
By the way, they got blown out by the Cardinals just like we did. They got blown out by the Patriots at home. Come on. They've got things on their schedule too that you're like, well, they didn't get blown out by the Broncos. Oh, Broncos a great team they didn't get blown out by. Okay. What about the Patriots? Are they a great team? They got blown out by the Patriots at home against New England. What about that one? Anything to say for that one?
The Patriots?
We didn't get blown out.
No, there's your moral cookie. You're handing out moral cookies.
Oh, well,
take one for yourself.
For the Bears,
take one for yourself. And what about the salary cap? Your argument. So you're just like, baby, nanny, boo, boo. I'm bringing facts. Salary cap, starting skill position players, right? The Jets are going to have contractual issues coming up. The Jets don't have a quarterback past next year, maybe even past this year, right? Who's the starting quarterback on their roster?
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's clearly a better job. That's my take.
Okay. Well, what about the Jets' talent to the Bears' talent? The Jets' talent is better than the Bears' talent. If we go pillar to post, A to Z, Jets have better talent. So, okay, you can say quarterback, Caleb Williams over what the Jets have. Okay, that's fine. Better running back, Breece Hall over DeAndre Swift. 100%. Wide receivers.
Pass.
Garrett Wilson over DJ Moore. I'd take Garrett Wilson. Devontae Adams, I'd take him over Rome Odunze or Keenan Allen. Come on.
What's the basis of this?
What do you mean? What is the basis of this?
I'm asking you. That's the question.
Of like why I'm taking these Jets players over these Bears?
That's right.
Because they're better.
Based on what?
Quinnen Williams, All-Pro. Quincy Williams, All-Pro. Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Michael Carter. I mean, go down the entire list of talent and they smack them around. The Bears have nice talent. The Jets are one of the most talented rosters in football.
Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on to something else.
Okay, which by the way, let's get a peek at the poll. Here on YouTube, Jets are winning 59%. Oh, people agree with me. Well, it's not the first time that they have.
View the Jets as a better job. There you go.
Okay. Well, I thought we could, you being the Cowboys guy, I thought we'd get a better answer from you, this unbiased stuff, but apparently not. So that's
I'm biased. I would rather it be the Jets. It's just not true.
So you're saying if a head coach was available and he had his choice of the Jets or Bears on a scale like a pie, okay? Like, wow, the Jets win 60% because it's like a 60-40 thing, right? So this. How would you split the pie of evaluation of the two jobs? What would be the lead?
I would say 60-40 would probably be about right.
For the Jets?
No, for the Bears.
Righty. Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to agree to disagree, I guess. Anywho, let's get to, I guess, the injury report. Let's look ahead to Jets Seahawks, which is coming up. We've got Tyron Smith is the only one who's officially been ruled out. And again, folks, keep an eye on the transaction wire. I think Tyron Smith's getting placed on IR today. That's my gut. That's my gut feeling. We'll see if that's right. I hope it's not, but that's my unfortunate gut feeling. Now, technically, C.J. Mosley is listed as questionable, but he was telling the local media he does not feel right with his neck. He had a herniated disc. So I would imagine he's not going to play either. Here are the other ones. You always hate to see these. That's always a concern when you have someone who pops up at late in the week. Chuck Clark was a limited participant on Friday with a shin that just popped up. Again, it's a shin, so we'll see, but that's normally not good news to see an injury pop up late in the week. And Brees Hall, who was not looking good early, has completely turned it around. He said, did not practice, limited participant, full participant. He said he's good to go. He is officially listed as questionable. And shout out, we were both there together, Pop, when we saw that scary injury. Xavier Newman is back. He had the concussion neck stuff from the Steelers game. He was laying motionless on the field after that very scary situation after the interception, had to be carted off the field. He returned to practice and was a full participant the last 2 days. So that's not a football thing of like, oh, cool, Xavier Newman's going to make the difference. I don't care about any of that. It's just health-wise for the young man, seeing someone getting stretchered off the field. Good Lord. It's just good to see him back breathing and normal, let alone being a full participant in practice the last 2 days.
Right. Thankful for that.
Yeah. And for Seattle, the only big loss that they have officially is Uchenna and Wosu. I think it was a former Jet way back in the day, the USC product, a very talented pass rusher. He's out. And both the receivers that were looking questionable, both full participants, and both Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, they both seem like they'll be good to go. There's your full injury report from that perspective. Wanted to make sure we got that out there. And by the way, just randomly, because I was getting over to the current spread, Georgia winning 44-42 against Georgia Tech in 8 overtimes. That was, hey, we saw Georgia Tech this year against Notre Dame, Pop, but I don't think it required 8 overtimes for the Irish to take care of business there in that game. So
it's really a sign of the times. The SEC looks a little vulnerable this year.
Could be interesting when we get to the college football playoff. Are we going to reward Georgia for wow, what a battle to survive?
8
Georgia
overtimes
Tech
versus Georgia Tech.
Yeah, look at that. What
was
the championship medal?
I don't even remember what the score was, but I know it was over 42.
Huh? Yeah. Oh, you're talking about like when it looked like it was over. It's like 20-6 or something in the fourth quarter, like 8 minutes to go.
No. I was talking about the Notre Dame.
Oh yeah, I don't even. It was like 40 something to God knows what. I mean, let me see. Irish.
Yeah, I'll pull it up here.
Let's see who gets it first. 31-13. It's funny. I told this story before, but Georgia Tech got up to a 7-0 lead, and we were in the Georgia Tech section, and they're going, "Yeah, baby, upset's cooking, chugga, and then Notre Dame scored like 31 unanswered. So that was pretty funny, though, being there for that. I respect it. By the way, the Seahawks, Dad, are now a favorite against the Jets. The Jets opened as a 4.5-point favorite. Seattle is now a 1-point favorite in New Jersey against the Jets. So, 6-5 Seahawks. They just edge out the Jets as a 1-point favorite. You agree with that line?
I think that's about, I think it's about where it has to be. Yeah, one thing about the 31-13.
Sure.
Georgia Tech scored like in the last second of the game.
Oh, right. They're extra
garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so the game was over, and then because it was 31-7. Notre Dame's on coast mode.
Yeah, and again, that touchdown by Georgia Tech happened in the first drive of the game, and then they didn't score again until the end. By the way, Ricky New York Live would like me to share something with you, Pop, that the Jets lost 4 games by a combined 8 points this year, including 2 losses by 1 point, the Colts and Broncos, that he says, quote unquote, destroyed us. So, it goes the other way too with the Jets. And if you flip those, all of a sudden the Jets are the 7-6 win team, and they're in the firm hunt to the playoffs. So
2 wins.
It seems like you could do that.
They
for
go
both.
to 7 wins. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, they're 3-8. So if you flip these 4 games, he said we lost 4 games by combined.
Oh, the 4, all 4.
And
games.
I'm saying if you flip the 4,
sure, all
then,
4. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Anywho, so Seahawks are 1-point favorite in New Jersey against the Jets. What you said that's an appropriate line?
I think it's surprising that
because the Seahawks are in first place in the NFC West, and the Jets are 3-8, and they've won 1 game in the last 2 months.
It is surprising that I think the Jets have a chance. We'll get into that in a few minutes.
Sure.
I think the Jets have a chance, but for the Seattle to be 1-point favorite seems a little off. I would, and I'm not talking about 10. I'm talking about 3, 4, something like that. Seems like that would be more appropriate.
Yeah, if for folks who don't know all the Vegas betting stuff, if you're on a neutral field, if you were like a college football team, you're playing in like Planet Mars and you're Texas and Notre Dame, You have an even line, and then you just judge it based on who's the better football team. If a team's at home, you normally give them 2.5 to 3 points. That's the tip of the cap. That's what home field advantage is supposed to stand for. So in other words, with Seattle being a 1-point favorite, they're really a 3 or 4 point favorite on a neutral field. And it's interesting, like I said, the Jets opened as a 4.5 point favorite at home. If you remove the 3 point line, they're a 1.5 point favorite. So maybe it's just to make Jet fans like, ooh, we're a favorite.
Trying to rope them in,
people to
right?
Go and get them like engaged. So
the early lines are really designed to bring the bettors in, right? I'm saying that the Seahawks are 7 points better than the Jets. You take the 3 points, and that's why I think the spread should be 4.
The one thing I would circle here is, there's an embarrassing stat that came up because of the Giants game, and I can't remember if did the Giants get any interceptions that game against the Cowboys on Turkey Day, or do you?
I don't think so.
Okay. Now the reason why I brought it up is the Giants heading into that game only had 1 interception as an entire defense. We're like, oh wow, that sucks. And if you're a Jets fan, you look at yourself. I believe the Jets have only had 2 interceptions all year long, which is double the Giants, according to the math. But both of those interceptions came from our backup cornerback, Brandon Eccles. No offense, he's a free agent to be, but it did not come from a starter. So that makes it even more embarrassing, whatever it is. Geno Smith, we talked about it with our Seattle Seahawks insider on the show yesterday. You guys could check out that preview show. Geno Smith's having a rough year. He has 12 interceptions. He only has 12 passing touchdowns. So he has been coughing up the ball at an alarming rate this year. And while some other years he's had 9 and 11 picks the last 2 years, but he's had high passing touchdowns. So like it kind of overwhelms the interception totals if you're making up for it with a ton of touchdowns. So if the Jets have struggled to get interceptions, and they have, only 2 picks all year, and Geno Smith is being Oprah Winfrey out there with the football, sounds like a perfect opportunity for the Jets defense to create some short fields for the offense, which maybe could get some of that mojo going. So that seems like a big factor in the game.
Yeah, what's funny is how people perceive. Like Geno Smith is the Rodney Dangerfield of the NFL,
wow.
Right? And like maybe half the people don't even know who Rodney Dangerfield is. This poor son of a gun gets no respect. He does lead the league in interceptions, but you know who's right behind him that you don't hear shit about? Patrick Mahomes, Jordan Love, right, and Sam Darnold. And you hear people in the media espousing the accolades of those people. The flip side of Geno Smith is he's second in the league in passing yards. Right? And 8 teams have played already. And he's still second in the league in passing yards. So it's crazy with 1 more interception than Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. All the people can do is disparage Geno Smith. And I'm not saying he's a second coming. I am saying that he is throwing the ball around well. He's had, I think, 4 or 5 300-plus yard games, almost a 400-yard game this year.
Sure.
Second in the league in passing. And he is going on, barring this year, he's gone to the Pro Bowl the past 2 years in a row as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Well, I would say, again, I'd go back to the original statistic. When Geno Smith has had those higher interceptions years, the last 2 years, he's had a lot of touchdown passes to make up for it. If you look at the leaderboard, Patrick Mahomes has 19 touchdown passes. Jordan Love has 20 touchdown passes. Sam Darnold has 21 touchdown passes. So they each have 11, 11, and 10, respectively, on interceptions. But Geno Smith only has 12. So the next closest guy, Mahomes, is 7 more passing touchdowns. And again, I get it. He has 1 more game played, so factor that in. Jordan Love actually has 1 less game played. He's only played 10 games so far this year because of the injury. And Sam Darnold is at 11. He's actually at the same total as Geno Smith. So again, they just have a lot better passing touchdown numbers. Maybe that's why. I'm not sure.
And I'll tell you, the weirdest thing to me is I've watched DK Metcalf, and every time I see him play, it's amazing. And what's crazy to me is it would be 3 times a game. It might be once a quarter, right? First down, maybe second down. I throw the ball as far as I possibly can. And more than half the time, he's going to catch it, and you're not going to catch him, right? He's one of the fastest players in the NFL, and he gets the balls Like when it's a 50-50 ball, it's 95-5. And they don't throw those passes very often, which is crazy. Like he is one of the most talented wide receivers and underutilized wide receivers in the league. If I am the Seahawks, I'm throwing the ball to him 4 times deep. You know what? If it gets intercepted, that was a punt. I don't care.
Yeah,
but they don't
you could
do
get
it.
PI, you could get a lot of
They
things.
don't do it.
Yeah.
Right? It's crazy. We saw it live time.
Yeah.
Right? You remember the time, and I don't remember who they were playing. Maybe it was the Cardinals, where they got intercepted on the goal line. And DK Metcalf from the opposite side of the field.
Yeah.
Right? He chased that guy down, 99 yards later,
like a cheat on a gazelle.
And I don't think they had the timing of the speed that they do now. I would like to clock that shit. Because GPS. That was unbelievable. Because he was, and he took the appropriate angle, blah blah blah. But he was 20 plus yards away from that guy. Right? There was air between him, and you see nowadays. And it always pisses me off, and it happens on the Cowboys, happens on every team, happens on the Jets, that players just like,
I have it actually. So here are all the numbers. Okay. In that, there was a game in 2020. It was the Seahawks against the Cardinals. Budda Baker intercepts a Russell Wilson pass, and he's traveling down the left hash at a top speed of 21.27 miles per hour, and he returned the interception 90 yards. DK Metcalf from the other side traveled 114.8 yards. It was reached a miles per hour of 22.64. So he was traveling 22 miles per hour, came across the field, tackled him, and I believe on the next play, the Cardinals threw an interception.
That's right.
Or turnover, and then it went right back to the Seahawks. So obviously it was a game-saving play.
Yeah, and I think when
Budda Baker play.
When we talk about those miles per hour, people they think about in their car, I'm driving 25 miles an hour. And, you see that live time. The only other time I've ever seen anything that amazing, and this one actually might be more amazing, was Larry Allen tracked down a New Orleans Saint back in the day, probably 1994. And, it's Larry Allen, right?
Yeah, right.
He's hauling a 350-pound biscuits around, and he chased down that Saints linebacker. It's one of the most amazing. I think John Madden was calling the game. But anyways, shout out to John Madden. Rest in peace. But anyways, DK Metcalf, that is the person. And I'll say one other thing.
Rest in peace, Larry Allen, unfortunately.
Rest in peace, Larry Allen. He's got a signed jersey right over here. Yeah. But I would say, here's the thing about DK Metcalf. Okay. Get Phil, I think it's Phil's emoji, get your boxing gloves ready. Because DK Metcalf,
one of the
Ted.
Most phenomenal
Ted, thank you. Yeah. One of the most phenomenal talents, speed, catching, whatever, all those crazy shit I'm at. He will carry that ball like a loaf of bread. And so you're ready to punch it out. He lost 2 fumbles this year. 2 fumbles this year, and he carries that ball loosely. And so that would be what I would be on the lookout for if I'm the New York Jets. He gets that ball. He's not carrying it high and tight. I'm going after it.
Okay, that's a good strategy and a good notation there for the middle of it. By the way, we have a random question in here that's from Jets Worldwide. Wide. This is a grandfather clock new behind over your left shoulder there.
Yeah, so not new. It's a family heirloom. Actually came over from Scotland in the 1800s. It's passed down from oldest son to oldest son. My father, when he passed away last year. It is still wrapped up, needs some repairs. It actually has a letter of the person that brought it over from Scotland on the inside cover of the door.
Wow.
Not new.
Okay, not new. There you go. But Jets Worldwide, good question there as well as we continue the conversation here. So, yeah, that all makes sense. Jets, by the way, of course, are 3-8. They're coming off a bye. The Jets, they're not good coming off the bye. I mean, I could pull up the record, unfortunately. Now, this is this is the Ulbrich regime, so he's 0-0 in such games, but
undefeated is what I'd like to say.
That's one to do it, to possibly say, but for the Jets as a whole, let me ask you that as I'm pulling that up. What is? Do you put any stock in that for prior, regardless of regime, that the Jets have been piss poor after the bye? Does that mean anything to you? Or
yeah, it does.
An irrelevant stat?
It does, and I would say, to me, that stat is a head coach stat, right? What you do, how you handle the bye, what the rest you give your players, how you break down the team and the position coaches, you drive them. It's all in the head coach. It's all preparation. Coming off the bye, you know there you should, unless you're completely outmatched, which the Jets are not. Just for the record, they're not clearly outmatched. No matter what I've just said about the Seahawks, they're not outmatched, but they would be outcoached if you come off a bye week, and you should be able to win it, right? You have better rest, you have better preparation time. You've been thinking about that team for 2 weeks. There's zero excuse to lose coming off a bye week. And if you do, it's the head coach.
We'll see. Well, yeah. Again, the Jets historically have not been very good, but you see other coaches like Andy Reid. He's he kicks Patuki when he has extra time. That gives him extra time to do things. So I don't know if it's paralysis by analysis or what, because obviously the Jets only have 3 wins on the season, so you can factor that in. But they've had mini buys all year long of opportunities to make up, and they haven't done a whole heck of a lot with it, unfortunately. So that's currently, like I said, where the Jets stand. By the way, coming off the bye, that's a good transition for Aaron Rodgers. What kind of Aaron Rodgers are you expecting? Because, I feel like if we don't get a great Aaron Rodgers here, when are we ever going? And I use great probably a little loosely there, but if we don't get a really good Aaron Rodgers coming out of this bye, or the best version that we've seen, then we're probably never going to see it, because as the weeks trudge along here, and the Jets are mathematically still alive. So I don't know if that's some rallying point in the locker room, but eventually they're going to be mathematically eliminated like the Giants just were. And then you won't have that fire. And then you're only going to get beat up more, I imagine, in the coming weeks. So if we don't see it now, I don't know if we're going to see it.
Yeah, I would say, if you remember, but leading into the Colts game,
Week
I
11,
think Aaron Rodgers said he was the what's that?
Yeah, I was just letting the fans know. That was week 11, right before the bye. Yep. Jets Colts.
That Aaron said he felt the best he had all year leading into that game.
Correct.
And so and I didn't get to see the whole game. I was flying during the game, caught the end of it, the sad, unfortunate end of it. So I didn't see him getting banged around. If he got banged around, I don't have that data. But if he didn't get banged around a lot, then that end of the game was really inexplicable.
It was embarrassing. I mean, they didn't get their first down until there was a minute and a half left in the first half. So there was just 3 and out, a lot of nothing.
Yeah, that's right. I saw the first quarter and the end of the. So I didn't see the sandwich meat in the middle. But I just, and I take no pleasure in this, despite what people may think. I think he's done. I think you stick a fork in him. And I would tell you that I have kept saying that this is his opportunity. The Seattle pass defense, not great, in the bottom third of the league, I believe, off the top of my head. They're not great. Coming off a bye week, receivers are energized, everyone's healthy. Have we got word on Lazard? I don't remember hearing.
There's been no update on Alan Lazard. He had the mysterious chest injury. Yeah, he would. I don't even think he's been activated off of IR yet. So
okay, no, thanks. Yeah, so I couldn't remember. I've read something that someone had mentioned that he might be coming in the not too distant future. This would have been a great opportunity. But yeah, so the excuses are off. Coming off the bye week, not against a not great Seattle defense, and against the pass. If he doesn't come out and show out now, then it's really over.
Yeah,
but I don't think that's not the key to the game for me. The key to the game for me is the Jets' passing defense against Geno Smith. I think that's the key of the game. I think that's strength on strength. If you do that during football practice, best on best. That's the best on best. The Jets' passing defense, who's second in the NFL or third in the NFL against the passing offense of the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, the Jets are second best in the NFL in yards allowed. Seattle's actually still top 10. They're the 10th team in terms of passing yards allowed. So not too shabby there for Seattle for passing yards allowed.
I think maybe it was their total defense overall.
Yeah, no, that could certainly be it. There's no question about it. That could certainly be it. The other nugget I was trying to double check was Seattle and rushing yards allowed, and they are bottom 12 in the league in terms of most rushing yards allowed so far this season. The Dallas Cowboys are number one.
Number one, Rico Dowdle got his first 100-yard rushing game. The first one, last person was Tony Pollard. So yes, there's your sign.
Yeah, hearing that statistic in the middle game when Rico broke 100 yards rushing, that was the longest drought between 100-yard rushers in Dallas Cowboys franchise history. And the Cowboys have been around for a hot second, so that one was that's a statistic and a half. That one certainly is something. So So let's get into Jet Seahawks even more. What other storylines are you looking forward to before you give us your prediction for Jets Hawks tomorrow?
And I'll tell you this, this Geno Smith has matured, right?
For sure, yeah.
From punching a teammate in the locker room to being
he got punched.
Yeah. Thank you for being super gracious when he's asked how he feels about coming back to the Jets. Right, he could say a lot of things.
Sure,
right, yeah. and more than 75 or 80% of the things he could say could be even neutral or negative. And sure. What he said was, I'm grateful for the Jets. Drafting me, affording me the opportunity to play, et cetera, et cetera. And he definitely didn't have to say that or act that way. And so however, as polite as that was, right, nothing would please them more. They're coming off 2 wins, right?
They're first place in the NFC West.
They're in the first place in NFC West, right? I'm sure, put your teeth on the curb, right? That's what he's thinking to himself as he's not, American History X, as he's being as great. He is a gracious person. So
for sure.
I think that's it. I think it's Geno Smith's game to win. And it's Aaron Rodgers' game to prove why the Jets signed him, frankly.
Yeah, we've run out a lot of those. Yeah, because
if it's possible.
Right. Yeah. There's been a lot of, again, I've said it in the middle of games. Normally I watch the game by myself in the living room. My family's on the couch, but I'm saying like the Vikings game, how everything played out. I'm like, holy shit, Aaron Rodgers got the ball, the chance to win the game. Boom. This is what we got him for right here, right now. And we could say, he's older, this, that, or the other. But this moment in time, this is what the greats are supposed to do. They're supposed to hop us back in the time machine and say, hey, I'm not done yet, you bastards. Yeah, this old gas can has a little bit more left in it. So there's that. The Buffalo game for first place in the AFC East at the time on the line. Like, whoa, okay, everything's hanging in the balance. That had happened. I think there's 4 or 5 for the Jets this season where Rodgers game-winning drives or they lose by 1 score. They had an opportunity to put their foot on the throat. Colts game obviously is a good example. Jets had it 4th and 2, and the Jets are like, let's just kick the field goal. No, they go up 5. I'm sure that'll be enough, and then it wasn't. Then you see Buffalo, same situation. They could have kicked a field goal against the Kansas City Chiefs, would have went up 5. They said, fuck that, we're going for it. Josh Allen gets a scramble touchdown. They didn't have a QB spy on him. He gets in. So, there have been those moments, and so far Rodgers has failed in all of those moments. Will another one of these moments come up with a crazy Jets-Seahawks game where, hey, go win this thing? Does he have it in him? I guess ultimately we'll see. Now, I say this because I don't have an interest. I don't know how to properly say this, but here's just the Tankathon update. The Jets, if the draft starts today, would have the 6th overall pick. If the Raiders would have won, which, by the way, talk about clock management, what in God's green earth happened at the end of that game? But the Raiders now have the 2nd overall pick, according to Tankathon. If they would have won, they would have dropped all the way to 8th, and the Jets would have risen up a spot. But the reason why I give these updates on Twitter, people say, Paul, what are you rooting for losses? I don't root for losses. When that game flips on and we get the CBS music, and it's all playing, I'm running around the house with the Jets flag, I'm all in, baby. It's the Jets Super Bowl as far as I'm concerned. Let's win this game and do everything and anything. But if they lose, again, I will rationalize the loss, say, okay, we just moved up in the draft. I would try to find the positive in it. But yeah, I don't root for losses, but hey, if that's what people want to do, I saw Joe Caparosa recently put up a poll. What do you want to happen on Sunday? Jets win or Jets lose? And a lot of the fans prefer that the Jets lose. But that's fine if people want to do the tanking stuff. But I just try to do it from an informational standpoint that's currently where the Jets stand for those of you who care about that sort of thing. So again, 3-8, they currently pick 6.
Right. I mean, realistically, every game, there's only one team that's going to win the Super Bowl. And, there's 14 teams that are going to make the playoffs, if I got that right.
That's math, right?
And so, right, that's 18 teams that are not making the playoffs. So there's realistically 18 teams out there that are in the same situation as the New York Jets, right? There's a couple, maybe we'll say there's 3 or 4 that are jockeying for a position, but pretty much we're close to the end. And you're playing because, that's your job, right? You're playing because in the NFL, unlike anything else, what have you done for me lately, Robert Jones? And screw you later, cut you later. So they better show up and show out, right? Because otherwise, what are you doing, right? Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a lot to lose, right? Right. I might play if I want to play. It'll be.
He's a Hall of Famer either way, right?
Right. So it's not going to improve his position in life. If he doesn't play next year, it's on him, or people have a lack of interest, whichever it is. He's going to be all right. But I would tell you the 99% of the other people on the field, it matters.
Sure.
They want to keep getting that check, and it's not insignificant. So hopefully the Jets play inspired football and show us what they haven't done. Opportunity to run the ball, opportunity for Aaron Rodgers to show why the Jets signed him. So there's a lot to play for. And again, unfortunately, once again, I'll be flying during the game. Although if I get the maybe I'll squeeze some money out of your mom to upgrade for the Wi-Fi so I can watch it in flights.
Yeah, we'll see. And Wi-Fi's not always great, so you could pay for it to get a whole lot of nothing. It's like when you pay for the extra shipping, they still don't ship it in time, and then you just get boned. So
that's right.
Like you could give that a whirl. And I would just say this, that just to finish off that conversation, I guess we wait all year long for the season, and then we have all this up. Everyone's undefeated. Everyone's 0-0. Like, let's do this thing. So the offseason has all kinds of intrigue. We'll see who the Jets hire. That could be exciting, and that could be more good news and all this other stuff. But we wait all year for these games, for the 60 minutes. It could be 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, whatever. I wait all year long for these games. I'm not going to try to whisk them away and hope for a loss. And let's just get to the offseason already. Like, I'm going to enjoy the heck out of these games, regardless of what's happening or who's in or who's out or anything of that nature. So I will be, screaming my lungs out for Jets touchdowns and big plays and wins and everything else. So I hope that we get a lot of good moments there. To me, that'd be awesome on Sunday.
It's a third of the season that's left.
Yeah, that's another way to put it. Sure, yeah,
more than a third of the season's left right now.
Yeah,
so let's
go. People are just like, yeah, right. And I've seen a lot of people go, okay, pass the biscuits. I'm like, pass your biscuits, buddy. I'm here for some Jets football to watch with my family. So I'm all fired up for it. With that being said, let's get into prediction time. Pop, where you at?
I'd love to say, with and now I have it right, with the Seattle Seahawks being in the bottom third of the league in rush defense, now that I've check adjusted myself. I would say, it's thunder and lightning. It's time to do it. Run the ball, open the passing lanes, play action pass. Aaron Rodgers throwing bombs down the field. It's time for the whole reason we brought Davante Adams, right? Davante Adams, check it out, played better as a Raider under Minshew than he has under Aaron Rodgers, which is pathetic. And so now it's time to show up and show out, right? Davante Adams, why did we bring you here? Right. So all those things, right. Unfortunately, none of them have materialized. So I cannot take the Jets. I would love to take the Jets. I'm not kidding around. If they could run the ball, you got Davante Adams on paper. If we got brainwashed, if we got zapped by Will Smith or that other old bastard, right, from Men in Black, and like, forget the rest of the season.
Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones. Forget the rest of the season. You were at home playing with kittens.
Right? Oh, the neuralizer. I see. Yeah.
Right. And then you would say, well, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams on the Jets. How did this happen? It's like Madden when you get you're like, oh, how did this happen? Oh, like a Brees Hall. Is that Braylon Allen? Holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would go, wow, the Jets are going to win this game 35-17.
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes back. The neuralizer goes on the fritz. You're like, oh, ooh.
We're 3-8. Right.
We're 3-8.
Yeah.
With that being said, 28-17 Seattle.
Bull. Okay. Well, for some of the tanking crowd, they'll appreciate that score. To me, I'm rallying around the Jets. Are coming off the bye, and I know historically that's been terrible. But Old Brick, as you mentioned, is undefeated in such scenarios. Now, you could say he hasn't been in one of those scenarios, which would be an accurate statistic, but so is mine. Again, this is the best chance for Aaron Rodgers. If he looks bad in this one, that does not bode well for the final five. If he looks good in this one, you're like, whoa, all of a sudden, maybe Aaron Rodgers can change the destiny or at least perception of the Aaron Rodgers conversation with whoever the new GM head coach is going to be. If Aaron Rodgers looks good, it's a conversation. Whoever comes in would be naive if they just brush aside whatever Aaron Rodgers does in these final six. It doesn't even factor it in. If he looks bad, it'd be easy for them to brush it aside. Okay. Yeah, this doesn't look great. They may still go with him because of the limited options at quarterback anyway. So maybe somehow, some way they still end up on him. But I just feel like this is a major turning point. And whether Aaron Rodgers playing football next year, as he sort of said that he's not sure if he's going to play, and if he is going to play, he wants to play for the Jets. So we have to see how he performs. I believe that Aaron Rodgers will perform. Now, perform to what level? We're going to all find out together. I have the Jets winning this contest 23-16 over the Seattle Seahawks.
It's funny. If we could get a redacted headline.
Okay.
Right. Redacted headline. Seattle versus the Jets, like 4 months ago.
Oh, sure.
Second in lead in passing, redacted. Right. First in the division, redacted, right?
Yeah, we're all like
everyone in the world would have filled. You could have done one of those fill in the blank kids from me. Well, that's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Well, that's the New York
Jets. Yeah.
Right, and you could go across the board and do that, right? But just so you know, right now, okay. I want everyone to listen to this. Now, okay. Boy Green is never lost to Mike Tyson in a heavyweight fight.
That's
you
true.
Never have.
No.
Never. Not once.
No.
Not
can't
once.
Say have.
You'll go down the record book. 0 losses against Mike Tyson in a heavyweight fight.
Undefeated,
just like Ulbrich.
Yeah. There you go. I'm also undefeated against Jake Paul, too. I'd like to put that out there in the universe.
That's right. You're a better dancer than Jake Paul.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I got to be honest, like the internet lasts forever. Seeing some of those TikTok girl singing videos, hey, different strokes, different folks, I guess. But, yikes. Which should just make Mike Tyson feel worse, seeing those lip syncing, Britney Spears videos to, fighting in the ring with that guy.
If you had the technology to freeze frame stuff, there was one point in the fight where Tyson did his, and it's amazing the way he did that, does the duck and jive. And it always, whoever he's fought, right, when he's doing that, you can't hit him somehow. I don't know how that's possible. Yeah. But there was one time where Tyson went to throw a punch in that fight. And you saw Jake Paul's face. Like he saw Jesus in that moment. Yeah. Like he's like, my life is about to end.
Yeah. Whoa, that was a little close.
That was worth watching the fight to me alone, was his face. And he probably had to clean out his drawers afterwards, because that one moment in the fight where he shucked under and threw it, and Jake Paul.
Which, by the way, because we can't talk enough about that fight. At the end, when Jake Paul, the fight's on, there is time left, and Jake Paul puts his hands down and does this. I wish Mike Tyson would have went boom and just set him down like a sack of potatoes. That would have been, because
that's great. Okay. Unlike when Josh Koscheck, for those UFC fighters out there, Josh Koscheck, when he tried to go after whatever Jamoke he lost to in the fight, and the referee's like, after the fight's over, he tries to go after him, and then he tells the referee in a calm voice, "I'm okay," right? And then he punched him. Right,
I think you have it reversed. Isn't that Paul Daly against
Paul
Koscheck?
Daly did the same,
because Koscheck just laid on him. I thought that was the wrestler fighter.
It could have been a couple
correctly.
Right, but yeah, I'm okay. And then
I'm good. Oh, okay. Boom, and then
Dana White fires him.
Yeah,
And then
that's
he
Paul
goes.
Daly.
Paul Daly goes to Strikeforce, and then when Dana White acquires Strikeforce, he fires him again.
Yeah, that was Paul Daly, Koscheck the wrestler, and he just laid on Paul Daly the entire fight. People were like, boo, because like Koscheck is a jerk off. We would love to see Paul Daly knock him out. That was it. And Paul Daly at the end's like, I'm cool. And it's like I think it was John Mergliata, and he's like, well, okay, if you're cool, you seem like you're not cool, but okay. And there you have it. By the way, shout out to Neil, baby, a member to the Boy Green Coffee Club, punching in his own ticket. 17 members away now. Beautiful. What's up, Pop? We didn't hear you.
Say the last name. Imperelli.
Pronounce his last name, but I don't know.
I don't know. By the way, how many is that? 17 away? Come on.
We're 17 away. Yeah, that is from our number one.
I know we can't say Ozzy, oi, oi, oi.
I don't know if that hits
to us.
Yeah, I'm not
I would
sure
tell you that half the people
on
the call would even recognize Austria as a country.
Wait, what? Why?
What? Because people in the United States are dumb.
Oh,
we've had elected officials that couldn't name the three branches of the government, for God's sakes, and one of them that person was in, not picking sides when asked what are the three branches of the government, as this elected official to the Congress could not name the three branches of the government. I won't name which political party or the person's name.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we did that back in school. By the way, Jets Worldwide says it is Impel is now is
I can't even read that.
Yeah, see, like, because even the phonetic spelling, I can't tell if the end is supposed
to
be
Impellizzeri.
Impellizzeri.
Oh, there you go. Impellizzeri. There you go. Good job.
So. Okay, beautiful. All right, Pop, do you have any time for phone calls? I don't know what the bacon o'clock is.
The bacon light is not lit. We had leftover ham from Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice.
Which your lovely mom, the Momji, cooked it up in a pan. And I ate it right before the show, so I'm good.
Great. Well, ham is disgusting, so I'm glad you are taking out ham for the rest of the universe there. All right, beautiful.
By the way, pork chops are from a ham, just from a pig. Same thing. You love pork chops.
Hep song.
Boy green daily, boy green daily, boy green daily. Talking just football, man. Boy green daily. Bucky Daily, the New York Jets Football Club. Wow. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch the Super Bowl season with Boy Green. Jets, Jets.
Beautiful. Hep always giving us the good times. The good times are rolling always with Hep. We've got a YouTube super chat coming in here from EZ. Again, every time we get a super chat, Zariah Luna chimes in. Wow. Fellow Jets content creator Green Bean sent a letter to Woody Johnson to be general manager. I've seen there's been some hubbub about that on social media. So terrific. That's great. I'm rooting for my guy Green Bean. Hey, in all seriousness, everyone should be considered. Woody Johnson should be turning over every stone. We shouldn't overlook anybody. I mean, it is. I am all on board with not overlooking any option. Let's interview as many people as possible. And technically, Green Bean, Rex Ryan's, Tannenbaums, or any of these people that the Jets would interview, if they're not in the NFL currently, you can interview them right now. So let's get on top of that process, start interviewing these people left and right as far as I'm concerned. Let's friggin' go, baby. So shout out Easy. Okay, shout out to Green Bean.
Looks like an angry flower child there in his profile pic.
Is that what you're picking up from there? Okay. All right. Without further ado, let's go to Easy on the phone lines. What's up, Easy?
That's my biker do-rag, actually, not my flower child shit.
That's good. Okay, Easy. Welcome to the show, my biker friend.
Well, I'm not going to hide from this because I've talked to you, Paulie, about this. But I want to say something to Pops. Okay. Why didn't you go up to see your brand new grandson on Thanksgiving? I don't understand, man. I would have me and my daughter on the outs because of my ex-wife. I would have killed to see my grandkid.
Yep. So that's good. I would say that we have a thing with we have 3 dogs, and the kennel was the inn was
Oh,
booked.
gotcha. Okay, there were
And
circumstances.
Oswego's in the
can't let
process of getting 3 feet of snow here in the next few moments.
Yikes.
Where do you live?
I live on the New Hampshire Maine border.
Oh, you're up there.
True
Yeah,
story.
I'm down here in well, actually, right. Currently, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm driving. Yeah, the dump was open today because of the holiday, so we got in a couple of little deliveries quick. So boom, boom. After this, I'm going home. I'm done.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, I'm on liquid diet right now.
Oh.
Yeah, I have a procedure Monday.
Blend the turkey. Blend it.
Yeah, blend the turkey. There you go. Yeah, you can blend anything in liquid
No. You
form.
don't understand. I can't have that stuff. It's got to
Even
be
liquefied.
like clear liquid. I have to have. I'm having a colonoscopy, so they you can't have anything that can turn into poo poo. So it's got to be clear liquid.
Did he just say poo poo?
That he did. He did. Wow.
Well, apparently I thought he just took all of his dump to the dump.
There you go. That's a separate load.
No
Okay.
more Browns to the Super Bowl for EZ.
I guess so. Let's all root for him during his colonoscopy. All right, let's go to our next caller, and it's the latest member of the Boy Green Coffee Club, Neil Senior, here on the show. Neil, my cigar smoking friend. How do you pronounce your last name?
Impellizzeri. You got it right at the end.
Okay, nice.
Impellizzeri. I got it.
Yeah.
You know, Snowball put it down nicely, phonetically. You know.
Okay, very nice. Okay.
You know, Snowball. You know, Rich. I call him Rich because he's been to my house. Rich is a great guy.
Ooh, okay.
He has his show, that match game show that you
Oh,
and I
yeah.
are gonna. You're gonna have to meet up. You're gonna have to meet up with me because I'm the current champ on that show.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, yeah.
But listen, I took down Allen. That was the biggest one that I wanted to really.
No. There's
when
nothing that's
going to
top
Allen,
that.
I shut him up finally. He's not a guy that's easy to shut up.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. So I love that. Yeah, that it's going to be anticlimactic. I guess we won't be able to get to that same high of smacking around Allen.
It'd be like It'd be like the no one remembers that there was a game after the Miracle on Ice, right?
Yes,
no one knows
that was
not
for the
gold medal game.
Right. People did not realize that. Right.
Or that the Red Sox, after they came back from 3-0 and beat
that
the
wasn't
Yankees,
the World Series.
That wasn't the World Series. Right? People forget that.
Yeah. There's game after the game. Yeah, that's right.
Paul Senior. You were talking a little boxing before. And I like watching the YouTube and the old boxing matches and some of the older boxers. I have a quote up here from Evander Holyfield, okay? I want you to guess which boxer he was talking about when he said it. I thought he knocked all my teeth out. What boxer do you think said, I thought he knocked all my teeth out? What boxer was Evander Holyfield referring to when he said that statement?
Yeah. So I'm going to go, there's 2 that come to mind, but I'll name the one that is most prevalent in my mind. And I would say the person that people have repeatedly said hits the hardest was Mike Tyson. So I'm going to go with Mike Tyson as the answer to that.
Paul Jr. Any
throw
one in there? Are you a fight? Are you a fight enthusiast?
Yeah, I am a fight enthusiast. Could it be Klitschko?
No.
Lennox Lewis.
George Foreman, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
George Foreman.
We should have had that.
In his prime, but he could hit. That's why Muhammad Ali had to do a rope-a-dope for all those rounds because he feared that right hand of George Foreman.
Well, the entire chat had it right. T-Town Jet, Foreman, Rover Jet, Phil, Ant Jet said definitely was Foreman. Oh, wow. Okay.
You know what I didn't realize? The guy, Jim Morris, what was his name? Jim Morrison. That guy, Jimmy Morrison, that was on the Rocky, the kid that was on Rocky 5 or whatever that he was training, or Rocky 6 or whatever the hell it was.
Mm-hmm.
He was like
Tommy.
the Great White Hope.
Tommy
Morrison. I'm sorry.
God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't even realize that he was a fighter, a real fighter. I thought he was like a mythical figure when he was on the Rocky thing, but he was a real guy.
Oh.
And that guy had a vicious left hook, and he knocked out like everybody that went in front of him. And I saw a fight he had with George Foreman, where Foreman was very late in his career. I think he was over 38 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, everybody that this guy Morrison hit, I mean, if he hit you with a solid left hook, you went down or you were wobbled, right?
Yeah.
He had a fight against Foreman. And Foreman, didn't have the best of reflexes when he was in that late stage,
Naturally, right.
But when he took punches, this guy Morrison hit George Foreman with open left hooks, hard overhand right hands, and George Foreman just kept coming forward and forward and forward like he didn't even feel this guy's punches. I mean, it was amazing to me to watch that. I mean, the fighters of yesteryear, Paul Sr., these guys were animals. It was not like these fighters today. I mean, obviously, that's why Tyson was so revered, was because he was an old-time fighter, really in a new age when he came into fighting. But I just wanted to make a mention of that, number one. Number two, I can't understand why anybody would be into this like lose game thing, this whole bullshit.
Actively rooting like, oh man, I want the Jets to lose. I just don't get that. Yeah.
I mean, I've been a fan since I'm 8 years old. I haven't missed a snap. You know that, Paul. I don't know if Paul Sr. knows that. I've been to the 68 championship game. I was 8 years old. And, that year, and being a fan of the Mets, the Jets, the Knicks, you live your life based on hope. And you always see at one point in your life something that's really magical. And when it's magical in New York, it's like no other place that it ever had, of any place in any area in history. I mean, the Jet win in the Super Bowl against the Colts, the probability of that happening, being my father bet on it and got 21 points from many, many people. That's how laughable that was, that Super Bowl.
Unbelievable.
The odds of the Jets winning that Super Bowl were far more improbable than the Jets winning their last 6 games and making the playoffs. Just think about that.
Wow.
Okay? Now, I was also at the 86 Mets World Series, Game 6.
Nice.
I sat behind Bill Buckner and saw the ball go through his legs.
Oof.
And I want to tell you, the improbability of the Mets coming back to win that game, also more improbable than the Jets winning their last 6 games and making the playoffs. So for me, I watch these games with great intent. I always, scribble down on my pad, this guy, where are we? What's the thing? This and that. And I know there's a 1% chance the Jets make the playoffs. But let's be real a second. We've had 5 very, very stupid losses that in any other year would not have happened in the last 3. Because our defense in the last 3 years would not have given up 2 drives to end the game to Jacoby Brissett and
Anthony Richardson
from the Colts. That would not have happened any year on our Jets defense the last 3 years. Would you agree, Paul Sr.?
That's true. Yeah, the most shocking thing, I can't get past Aaron Rodgers' performance being, not the most shocking thing, but very close second is the Jets defense, the run defense. That's right.
Yeah, what's really upsetting to me is the fact that this defense has not made any adjustments to compensate for the lack of the defensive line. Okay, we certainly don't have the line we've had. We let JFM go.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a big fatty in the front to stop the run. We don't have Quentin Jefferson anymore. He was a great run-stopping guy.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, the thing that bothers me is guys like Michael Clemens. They should never see the field. Never. That guy should never see the field. The only time he should come in is once or twice when when somebody is just totally exhausted. And, my thought is this, we got two guys that are legitimate defensive line guys, although Quentin Williams is legit. The guy we got from the 49ers, I always forget his name.
Oh, Javon Kinlaw, yeah.
Kinlaw is a big guy. He just loves to, take a gap and rush the passer, and on rundowns, he's always running to the other gap where the running back is running to the gap that he's wide open. I can't stop thinking about that one play where he just literally ran by the guy and, passed the quarterback because he was in such a momentum to run by. But those are two guys that should be playing at minimum 80% of the snaps. Minimum. Okay?
Well, that's the good news. The new regime that comes in isn't going to be playing that snap game anymore, so we won't have to worry about that anymore.
Right. Quentin Williams, guys, play 65% of the snaps on average. I think 60 to 65, okay?
Yeah.
I watched the Miami Dolphins. Calais Campbell's 38 years old.
Yeah.
And he plays 80% of the snaps. The kid on the Raiders,
Max Crosby, yeah.
Crosby plays 96% of the snaps in a ball game. Now, if that guy could play 96% of the snaps and he's double teamed every single snap, and his effort on every single snap is more impressive than any jet snap of any down of any play, there's no reason why we should not have Reddick playing every snap, Will McDonald, Quentin Williams, and the four guys we have there. And basically, when you're exhausted and you need oxygen and you can't have a single snap, you come to the sidelines and we'll put a guy in for one or two plays. And that's it. No reason that can't be happening. And that's an adjustment you make when you have a deficiency on the defensive line. And they're not making that adjustment. The other adjustment is simple. Blitz. When you have four guys that can't get home, you got to put five guys that get home. How many times have we seen a successful, corner blitz like the one that the other week DJ came in on a corner blitz and he got to the quarterback. Nobody even blocked him because they know, the offenses know, that the Jets are not doing these blitzes and exotic type of defensive plays. That's why when I watch our defense and then I watch Spagnuolo and Kansas City, who has a very talented defense, but they're no better roster-wise than we are, supposedly, with a full deck. And yet, he gets to the quarterback, he blitzes at the right time, and guys are not sitting. We have so many guys sitting out there, not covering anybody, linebackers that are running around with like chickens without a head. And it's kind of frustrating is all. But that being said, I really expect a big game from us tomorrow.
Yes.
This is it. Aaron has no more excuses. I think we had the time off, and hopefully we'll be making some changes, and we'll see some creativity. It'd be real nice to score first, to get a first touchdown in the first series, right, Paul?
Yeah, the first drive. Yeah, it hasn't happened yet so far this season. So let's pray. Let's hope from above that we can finally get some of that. Esden Zone rejoining us here on the show. Sorry for the technical difficulties we may be having sort of in and out here. We'll get right back to the phone lines in a second. A couple of just quick points here that I saw. Someone just asked if we could get Jake Paul and George Foreman. There it is. Logan Paul, George Foreman. It seems like the right age. Foreman's 75 right now. So
yeah. By the way,
Jake Paul. Yeah.
How many fights do you think George Foreman had in his professional career?
Foreman was battling to the mid-high four. I don't even know. Maybe
76.
76 fights?
Yeah. How many knockouts do you think he had in those 76 fights? 76 wins. Let me be clear. 76 wins. He did lose a few. He had 81 fights. He lost 5 fights. So out of 76, what do you think the knockout percentage was?
60?
68.
Oof.
68.
Wow.
68.
Pretty good.
Something else somebody said in the chat, and
Sure.
it was, and if you remember back, Brock Bowers, I was advocating for the Jets.
I was just about to bring this up. Yeah. It's Peter who said, let me read this for our audio only listeners. Peter on our Heavy on Jets Facebook page. We appreciate you. He had 2 comments here. Told everybody Jets screwed up the draft by not taking Bowers. You believe me yet? And he followed it up with this. Bowers is a monster. How the fuck do you not draft that guy?
Yeah. And realize this, Brock Bowers, and I first admit that there are 16 teams or more. No, not 16. Hold on a second. My math. I'll lose your brain cell. 24 teams have not played yet. However, Brock Bowers is leading the NFL in receptions with the Raiders' pathetic situation. Benching this guy, bringing him back, he gets hurt, being one of the most dysfunctional. They treat quarterbacks like Jets treat kickers, and he's still leading the league in receptions, and he's 3rd in receiving yards. If we had truly been a win now, he would be by far, obviously, lead the Jets with a better quarterback in receptions and yardage right now. Right, he's on the cusp of breaking. He's not on pace. He's a little behind pace. I want to over exaggerate, but he's within sight of the tight end receiving record, right, for yardage.
Well, here it all is. By the way, here are all the numbers. I have them in front of me. He has 84 catches through the first 12 games of the season with 5 games to go. That's absolutely wild. 884 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, he has 113 targets. I mean, it's crazy numbers. But I think it all boils down to the original fuck up by Joe Douglas, which is 2020. He took Mekhi Becton. And if he takes Tristan Wirfs, you have the tackle, and then you never need to take the second tackle, which was Olu Fashanu, who you end up having. Now, with Tyron Smith out, folks, we would have been having Carter Warren protecting the blind side of Aaron Rodgers. So I'll take Olu Fashanu door number 2. But no, I mean, yeah, Brock Bowers looks friggin' awesome.
What do you think his yards after catch are?
For Brock? I would imagine it has to be a lot because, there was a couple of shots down the field in this Chiefs game, but I have to imagine a lot of his dump off and then he makes a play because that was kind of his calling card coming out of Georgia. So we said 800 something yards or whatever it is. That's 84 receptions, whatever it is.
Yeah, his yards after catch might lead the Jets in receiving.
Oof. Wow. That's
I don't know if it's a little exaggeration. He's got over 430 yards after catch.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. How many tight ends have a 60-yard touchdown catch? Not many.
Yeah, I was about to say Isaiah likely has a big one from earlier in the year, but yeah, not many, I would imagine. Not many. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We're going to grab Hep here on the show. What's up, Hep?
There he is. You know what? When we show the video of Hep, and I don't mean to interrupt Hep, I jump in the front here. His passion when he was singing that song, the pure love that he has for Boy Green and the Jets comes through that song every time. And I just got to say,
it's infectious.
Hats off to you.
Yeah.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say when I saw your boy on that made my heart glow. That was a wonderful thing, man.
Oh yeah, yesterday the whole family coming over. That was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's a really nice thing you did there.
Of course.
And now I want to explain I'm going to root for the Jets when we're mathematically in it to the end. I mean, I saw the miracle. I saw the miracle Mets. I see that.
Sure.
I've seen it all, man. I've seen it since '69, since the Jets brought the AFC into the NFL. Mm-hmm. That's what the Jets had done.
Yeah.
So if you like Kansas City and all those other people, you can thank the New York Jets for that.
AFL NFL merger, baby. Without that Super Bowl III, who knows if what happens?
Exactly. So anyway, but once the Jets are mathematically out, I don't. You know when they say you play to win the game? No. Yeah. I play to win a championship. This is what I play to do.
Okay.
I mean, I've done it. I've seen it all. I mean, and then we win after we were out of it. It's kind of like masturbation. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. Give me a break. And so what I'm saying is that once we're mathematically out of it, let's start playing the second stringers. Let's see if we have any gems sitting on the bench. Let's see. I'm not saying tank, but let's see what we have. Let's start to go deep into the roster. See, maybe we got a gem sitting there like Lawrence. I mean, not Lawrence Taylor, the Taylor 3.
Yeah, Leonard
I mean,
Taylor. Yeah.
Leonard Taylor. Yeah, I mean, things like that. Let's look for people. I mean, it's entertainment, really, what the NFL is, right? I
Of
mean, it's
course.
sports, but it's entertainment. I understand they're selling tickets, but for me, it's about a championship before I die. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I seen it when I was a young boy. And now I
Yeah.
want to see it before I go. So that's the reasoning behind those things. It's not that I don't love the Jets. I
Yeah.
love, of course, I'm in it. Right here, I am.
Yeah.
But anyway, peace out, guys.
All right, love it. Thank you, Hep, for that. By the way, Frank
What's that
says
line of sight?
Yeah, that's visual. But Frank says on our Heavy and Jets Facebook page, Hep needs to write a song that reflects a season, a song about lost love and heartbreak. Plenty of material, that's for sure. Yeah, I understand that take from Hep. That again, you're playing for the championship, and
Which
even
one?
a 0.7.
The first part of his take or the second?
Actually, it's not funny. I guess it's going to be a weird. Last night, there's an American Pie like movie marathon or something, and I'm watching the first American Pie, and the father
warm
son,
apple pie.
warm apple pie. It's just like the same thing, and then they have the pie there. It's like his dad comes
All right,
fucking
all
a
right.
pie. He's like, "What the hell?"
I think we need to move
What
on.
are you doing? Anywho, yeah, a lot of hoopla. Anywho,
Before we walk into the kitchen and you've got a pie around your midsection.
Hey, different stretch. Yeah, hopefully we get a pumpkin
Use a different
pie.
phrase than that.
That's probably true. Anywho, I get what Hep's saying though, because like again, Hep, is so invested in the Jets and the show and everything. They're like that makes sense. Even if you have a 0.7% chance, which is by the way the current odds for the Jets, they have a 0.7% chance right now. And according to the analytics, if the Jets won out, they won every single game remaining, which are the 6 games. The Jets would have a 30% chance of the playoffs, even winning out, because they need all this other stuff to happen. So there's still you're saying there's a chance. So there's a chance. So they're going to have to win out. I think, I don't know if it's official. I'll have to look at the NFL because each week they put out, like playoff clinching scenarios, which the Chiefs just had. They have the opposite elimination scenario.
Yeah, Giants were the first ones to cross that finish line.
God bless. Shout out, salute to the New York Giants who punched their ticket into the draft. But as soon as you're eliminated, if you, like, I get what Hep's saying, like you're no longer playing for a champion. Now it's all for pride and dignity and the love of the game and things of that nature.
By the way,
sure.
So was Baker Mayfield being a douchebag when he said when he scored, like when he's doing the Tommy Cutlets thing? He goes, "I did that to show all the respect as a tribute to Tommy DeVito." I'm like, "No, you're a dick." When you score a touchdown against the opposing and you make the opposing quarterbacks move or whatever, and you say that's a tribute, that's not a tribute.
Also, you have to consider track record, right? Baker Mayfield is not the cleanest, prospect. In college, he tried to run away from the police. That was in his draft profile. He planted the flag in college. He got in the coin tossing where I think he slapped the player before that. Like, he's gotten into some weird stuff, man.
And by the way, he's cleaned his image up a little bit. He's kind of had this Cinderella thing down there.
Yeah, he's made a lot of money now with Tampa Bay. Sure, yeah.
And so maybe somebody afterward pulled him aside, like, "Hey, man, what the hell? We're trying to."
Well, you knew, like, as soon as he was just boom, 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 boom. Like, we all knew. Like, and I didn't hear I saw the quote like, "Oh wow, it was a tribute. It was a tribute piece." I didn't hear how he said it, so maybe he said it like it was a tribute piece of Wink, or maybe he was being dead serious. I don't know, but yeah.
Actually, the happiest guy on the sidelines on Thanksgiving was Tommy DeVito.
Why is that?
He's like, every time he went to him, he was smiling. Like, they showed him on the sideline several times. He's like, "I'm glad I'm not out there with Micah Parsons."
Apparently, like, now I don't know what his injury is, and I don't want to call the kid a puss, but like the way that Brian Dable described it, he's like, yeah, he's having some form pain or something, and then so
maybe
Brian
he's
Dable
a little too busy doing Hep's thing he was talking about.
Apparently, using too much of the different part of the arm, and then like so Brian Dable apparently had his presser first, and then they go to Tommy in the locker room and say, "Hey, Tommy, you hear your forearm hurts?" And it's like, "Yeah, and every other part of my body hurts." So like he's like saying, "Hey, that's not the only thing that's hurting on me." And that's what it sounded like to me. I'm like, "Whoa, that kind of sounds like a real puss." Like, but Tommy,
I played in 2 games.
Yeah, right. And I don't get like this is your chance, man. Like, if my forearm hurts a little, okay, that sucks. But like, hey, man, this is the NFL season. This is a chance for Tommy, who said he didn't want to do all the Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets thing, do the pizza thing where he's getting all the appearance fees and stuff. He said he wanted to refocus on football, and this is this stint, this chance he's getting with the Giants, and everybody wants to flip it around. I just, I feel like you've got your chance right now while the Giants are in this effed up quarterback situation. It's a unique situation. Start as many games as you can, and when we get to the offseason, try to get a deal from somebody as a backup quarterback. I just feel like he's screwing it up by going,
Right. They were so satisfied. The Giants went out and signed your boy Boyle.
Tim Boyle, let him boil. And boy,
I wish I had the ability to cut up video.
I'm glad you don't. I'm glad you don't. I am glad you are technologically incapable. That makes me feel a lot better. Yeah, like, hey, actually, preacher, here, I'll cut up a video package. I'm like, you cut up a what? And you're like, here, let's play this. And by the way, FL Phil 98 is channeling his inner Jim Morris Sr. He says, forget running the table or any playoff talk. Can this team play one complete game? As that's the part people forget about the Jim Morris Sr. speech. They go, playoffs? Talk about playoffs. But if you keep listening to the Jim Morris Sr. presser, he's like, I just want to win one. I just want to win a game. And he goes on the whole thing. So, that's not bad. Again, we have one, folks. You might think I'm joking or over exaggerating. The Jets have one win, in the last 2 months. 2 months. Good Lord. One win, 2 months.
That's right. And I'll tell you, I do not think the Jets or the Cowboys are going to the playoffs. But I'll tell you this.
All right.
Without a far stretch, the Cowboys could be 7-7 here in 2 more games. Could be, right? And then you piece some things together. 7-7, you're like, and then you're looking at, you have, 3 games left. Like, then you start thinking, well, But again, I'm not having. But you do one game. It's the one game at a time.
Oh yeah,
play a complete game. Is the game against Seattle winnable? Yes. Can they put it all together? Can the most talented team on the field win the game? That's the real question. Is there one less ride in Aaron Rodgers? That's what it's about. This game.
And was Brady on your Cowboys game? Was that the game he was on?
Yeah, I don't listen. I block him out.
Oh, okay.
He's like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Well, no, the only reason I brought it up is because I remember one point in the game, the Cowboys were blowing out the Giants. And I can't remember if it was Brady or Burkhardt, but they said, like, you can't score 28 points on one drive. Like, you like, you're in the hole. You're like, shit. Like, oh, my God.
That's right.
Where's the 28-point play in the playbook? Obviously, it doesn't exist. So you just have to kind of piecemeal it together. So, and that goes to FFL's other points because, like, the bye week has probably made us forget about a lot of the problems. The poor tackling has been demoralizing just to see, okay, we have this wrapped up or we're about to get the ball back. Oh, wait, broken tackle, sleepwalking in first halves. Like that to me, that's what I'm really excited for a new coaching staff to come up here and crack the whip and have shit together where the Jets are not this unprepared team. Like the Jets are playing with 30 minutes. And the rest of the teams they play are playing with 60 minutes. The Jets in the first halves are just like, I don't know what happened. For some reason, something was off, and they're not playing. And then all of a sudden, they have these crazy 30-point second halves, 21-point second halves. You're like, shit. And they would just show up for 5 seconds for anything in the first half. Like, we'd have a game here to talk about, or the Jets would have this much different season. So it's fair points by FL Phil. Let's see this team actually step up before we start saying our respected hoopla here. Okay, we have a few more callers here. Let's go to Ricky, New York Live. You're next. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, what's happening, man? I don't really look at it like, it was this big miss for us not to take Bowers because do you really think this offensive staff would use him in the same way? Do you think he'd have that production if he was here? I don't.
That's probably a good question. That's probably a good point.
The other thing is there's another stat that Brock Bowers has. It's the stat of 2 wins all year long, even less than us. So,
stat padding. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's great. He's having a really productive season, and he looks awesome. But he's not winning them games. So, you know what? I mean, I just want to win some games. The very first football game that I ever went to in person, I was like 15, was a Super Bowl. The very first one we ever had here in town. And
oh boy, Jets Where White said, keep that Wi-Fi strong. And I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. And he's gone. That's too bad, Rick. I was going to say, what Super Bowl was it? That was the first game we ever went to. That would have been great. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go to our next caller. Sorry about that, Ricky. Your Wi-Fi bailed out there. Let's go to Johnny Boy here on the show.
Good morning, guys. How you guys doing?
Hey, good.
Underneath that hood, do you have one of those like hair net things?
Because it appears that way. Yeah,
dude,
you got that cooking up there. Yeah.
It's cold, man. Wife has it right now. It's like 55 degrees in the house.
Oh, I love
that. That's
awesome. There you go. Because if you're cold, you can put on more clothes to get warmer. Like me, because of the baby, they have all these rules. You're supposed to keep your house at this, that, and that, the other. It's a freaking hot box here. I freaking hate how hot it is here.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Anyways, I know what everybody's talking about, the GM, the head coach, and all that. I just want to let you guys know that we finished it, guys. Like myself and Snowball, Jets Worldwide, we lifted the curse. It's over. We've done it. We've burned the Namath.
Okay. What'd you do?
If I tagged you in it on your Twitter, and you could put up if you want to show Papa Esden on there. But we did a seance, I think it's called, right? Ritual sacrificing of the Namath, and
good Lord,
it's over, man. So we felt it. Phil was part of it last night.
Oh wow,
it was a lot of us.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go check that out. I missed.
And I say that because we're good now. You guys will see. Watch Sunday. We're gonna play. We're gonna win, and it's just gonna be going like this for us from now on. It's all over.
Well, thank you for your contributions, then, Johnny. I appreciate that.
It's awesome.
I'm trying everything and anything to stop the losing that the Jets have done.
It is interesting that you went to your closet and you went through and looked at all the sweatshirts. And I can't tell you what color that sweat. I would say
yellow,
sherbet, or
orange.
I don't know what color that is.
It appears yellow.
You skipped over all the green ones. You skipped over the Mets ones. And you landed on.
It's super dark in here, so in the house at night, and
that brightens it.
I'm
like you're seeing you in traffic. If I'm driving, I'm like, oh, jeez, watch out for that. Well, what's going on there?
Hey, man, you guys keep doing your thing. I had to come up here and let everybody know that.
Thank you for holding the seance. Wide.
Yeah,
Later, guys.
Yeah, appreciate that. And then real quick, I'll give Ricky's Wi-Fi another chance here. Go ahead, Ricky.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Got a weird thing going on with my computer where every once in a while it just switches from the extender back to regular Wi-Fi without it, like without me touching it. Like,
oh no, that's okay.
As I was talking, I looked down and I noticed it was doing it, and I'm like, why? It's working for a change.
So what Super Bowl did he go to?
That was in 1984. It was Raiders and Redskins. And then,
oh wow, what a Super Bowl!
I was actually going to come up with that.
Yeah, Marcus Allen, nice.
Yeah, and I also went to the Cardinals Steelers Super Bowl where Santonio Holmes caught the touchdown at the end of the game, and a couple months later he was a Jet. So,
oh wow, that's so cool!
Yeah,
man, you picked two awesome Super Bowls to go to. Holy friggin' crap! Wow.
Well, you know what? My dad got the tickets through somebody that he worked with for the first one, and then the second one, a buddy of mine's brother was performing in the halftime show, and so his whole family got passes. And since the sister couldn't go, they took me with them. So
nice.
Yeah, real lucky in both situations. At any rate, I was going to say, there's been a lot of talk this week about, with Tannenbaum helping to lead the search for our next regime, bring Rex back and stuff. I would err on the side of caution with that because in the end we got to remember why Rex left here, and it's not like he went to Buffalo and lit the world on fire there. It wasn't a Jets thing. However, if we're gonna revisit Jets history and go back to the good old days, if you will, I would think a better route might just be, and hear me out on this, Aaron Glenn. Okay, Aaron Glenn prioritizes the run. The Lions are number one against the run right now. Our biggest problem has been the run. Could be just what we need. Just like the Gary Myers thing the other day, saying that we should hire Curtis Martin in an advisory position. Well, they were teammates. Guess what? Him and Kevin Mawai were teammates, who's the O-line coach for the Colts right now. I would love to see Curtis and Mawai back with Aaron Glenn and, bring the old – and those are like my heyday Jets days when we were in the playoffs every year. And you know what? And people are going to push back and say, well, Aaron Glenn's another defensive guy. But you know what? He's probably made he was in our scouting department for years, so he can scout talent. The other thing is he's probably made some good connections through the NFL over his years too. He might come here as a head coach and bring like some Lions passing game guy that we aren't talking about right now, and it could be just what we need. So
works for me, baby.
He's becoming the more I think about things like that, the more he's becoming kind of an appealing option to me.
All right, I'll keep looking into it. I mean, you love the family reunion thing. He was with the Jets, former first rounder, has a long coaching career, was with the Jets in scouting. Yeah, there's a lot of connective tissue there, Ricky. I like it.
Right on. All right, you guys have a good day.
All right, thank you, Ricky, and appreciate everybody calling into the show. Pop, any final thoughts?
Yeah, my final thought is make sure I do not have Sauce Gardner follow DK Metcalf. Do not.
Well, they despite what they said in the offseason, they haven't been doing it. So,
well, it would be a very bad plan for many reasons.
Come on, you don't Sauce physical guy against DK physical guy. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it would just be bad, right? He's not. Sauce Gardner is a phenomenal cover guy. Do not get me wrong. He can't, his tackling not the greatest. I'm not gonna pound the guy, but I think his skills would be poorly used against DK Metcalf. There are other. By the way, the Seattle. We didn't talk about it. We don't have to talk about it right now. Seattle has a very solid group of receivers. And so he would not be the matchup I would. If I was going to travel quarterbacks on players, I would put on DK on Lockett or their other, the leading receiver name's not going to come to me.
Who, Jackson Smith and Jigba?
Yes. So I would have Sauce cover him. DK Metcalf, if he beats you out, right, you're not going to tackle him. Sauce is not going to tackle him. Not that anybody else is either, by the way. And so the physicality of DK Metcalf is why I wouldn't have Sauce travel them. Someone mentioned it. That's why I figured I'd just throw it out there.
No, and just real quick, like DJ Reed's a short guy. That's what scares me about that. So he like DK Metcalf could just be power forward and out rebound him the entire game. And and as good as DJ is, I don't think there's anything he can do about it. Michael Carter II's a slot guy. So I think Sauce is your best bet. And I don't know if there's a perfectly constructed person on a lab that is built to cover a DK Metcalf because of his size and speed and track ability and everything else.
Right. And I'll tell you, it's just weird to me through DK Metcalf's career that, right, he has the physical abilities of Megatron, right? And he doesn't get the ball nearly. And when they're if you're on the inside the red zone or the green zone, wherever the frick you call it, right? If you're not throwing him the ball 2 or 3 times, I don't know what you're doing. Like, I literally don't know what you're doing. No. Because he is going to get that ball like Megatron. You're like, oh, this is a touchdown. Well, this is a touchdown. And then with it, he's underutilized. So hopefully he's underutilized again on tomorrow.
Yeah, we can only hope for that. Guys, so I'll be back in very short order. I'll be on the Jake Asman show at 11 o'clock. So, guys, check me out there. Also have some more columns out for the Heavy on Jets. Shout out to the 500 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, of course, as well for Boy Green and Woody. We'll check you guys out then. God bless. Pop, enjoy the rest of your holiday. We'll see you next week. There he is. See ya.